So we can't control the rainfall. We can't control disease. You know, we can't control drought. We can't control wildfires. But we can control the food source of the environment. We can control the quality. We can plant more trees. We can introduce native species. We can introduce native wildlife. Like all these different things, we can take an action towards on that land to optimize it. So, like, it's very important because once we lose that illusion of the only thing that matters to me or to you is you or me. Like, the only thing that matters to me is the internal, how I think and feel about things, like what I'm doing and how it makes me feel. It doesn't matter if it succeeds or fails in someone else's eyes. Like, if I'm doing what I enjoy, I can do it for eternity until I have zero capacity. Like, it's not a struggle. So the thing is, I can fail 20 seasons. I'm good. Like, that's the thing. But I'll never fail 20 seasons. By season 2 or 3, I will be one of the best. Because if the equation for success in anything in life is effort, action, and observation, okay, or analysis, like, job done. All you have to do is that in anything. And what happens is you achieve the result. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this week, maybe not the week after. But the thing is, in my experience, in your experience, there is only ever today and right now. I do not understand 3 p.m. as different to 12 p.m. The only reason I understand is because of the external environment. But internally, I'm experiencing everything as just one continuous action, one motion, right? One motion that is a dance of moments, jumping from one moment to the other, from one word to another. So, like, you gotta understand in language, okay? Like, we don't understand tomorrow. We don't understand, okay, internally, the passage of time. We only understand right now and right here. So the thing is everything in life you want is here right now. You know what action needs to be taken, and if you ask yourself what action needs to be taken, you know, you'll hear it. If you ask God what action needs to be taken, you'll hear it. Now, understand this. Our connection to God is in our subconscious, and our subconscious is only governed by emotion and feeling and, you know, instinct and things like that. So, to understand this is to understand that when I speak to God, I listen to what am I feeling? What emotions are being brought out? So when I close my eyes and I talk to God, okay, and I ask God if He's there, I feel it. And that's the thing. That's how God talks to us. Now, God, okay, isn't the God from the Bible, the God from the Quran, the God from, you know, any religious text. They're all trying to depict one aspect of God. God is everything. God has no form, but God has any form you wish for Him to have, or her to have, or it to have. It doesn't matter. I see God as the sun and the moon because all of life in our solar system, you know, comes from the stardust from the star exploding and igniting. We are children of the stars and children of Earth. So to understand that, okay, that's how I see God, as being the material environment around me, the people, because we're all made of the same particles that that star that gave us life is made of. Like, it's all the same. Like, that's the thing that religions don't understand, is they're painting, a different portrait of the same person and arguing that they're different people. Like, you're entitled to paint God however you want to paint him, or her, or it, or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. You can paint God as a tree. You can paint God as a blade of grass. For a tree and a blade of grass have more complexity than anything man can create. Like, and that's important to understand. Because, like, it doesn't matter how or what we worship in life. The only thing that matters internally is that we worship, because that's something we seek to do. And worship is just conscious emotional attachment. So the meaning I give to things, like, to devolve my life from meaning is to create space of emptiness. So the thing is it doesn't matter what the meaning is, we're all seeking meaning. Now, some people lean into weakness and negativity, and, they give into the negative aspects of life and cause, promote hatred and war and, killing and things like that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, war, hatred, killing, it's neither good or bad. Like, it's just an outcome. But, those who give their life, okay, to always being in a state of anger, always being in a state of fear, because anger and negativity is a fear-based mentality. War is a fear-based mentality. Like, the thing that causes countries to go to war is fear of lack of respect, lack of authority, lack of strategic defense, lack of resources, lack of control. So they're all, like, war is a weak act because it's made upon, like, when it's made through fear, okay, it's a weak act and it will always fail. That's why Iraq failed, that's why Afghanistan failed, that's why, Ukraine, Putin's failing in Ukraine. Even if he succeeds, he's failed. Like, it's never going to be what he wanted, because he was trying to use fear. And the thing is fear will do one or two things to people. It'll either cause them to cower and sort of either run away or submit, or it causes them to become emboldened and empowered and to throw, hell to the wind. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like, when you invoke that response, people are willing to die for every inch, gladly and happily, because they are invoking war in strength. And in war in strength is in the protection and service of people. That is the only reason we go to war, is to protect and serve. Those who go to war for fear are not protecting and serving. So they will always be weaker, because those who go to war to protect and serve have purpose, have direction, have closure, because they know if they live, if they die, regardless of if they win, they gave themselves fighting for what they believed in. Like, you know, and not all battles are equal. Ukraine and Russia is far from equal. Ukraine has technical skill above Russia, but Russia has resources. Like, right now, like, you gotta understand economically, war is a tool of economic growth. So if the market gets high inflation, you create a war so that you can stimulate the economy under emergency measures and spend more so that you can prolong it. So, like, that's one of the funny things is that if you understand this war in Ukraine from an economic perspective, it doesn't serve Putin to, like, overwhelm Ukraine. Like, right now, he's using limited resources to overwhelm Ukraine. But realistically, if they did emergency drafts, they could probably draft like 4 or 5 million men, like, quite easily. If they expanded drafting into having women, you're talking like 8 million people they could probably draft this year. Like, you know what I mean? So then we got to understand, well, if victory isn't the end or goal, like, it's where they're going, but they're not willing to just take the action to get there, then what does that mean for it? Now, you know, we could have ego and arrogance of thinking we don't need that many people, or we can do it with less, you know what I mean? Or fear of, you know, disrupting, you know, the environment, like the socio sort of status of society, because doing a mass mobilization like that of like 8 million people would basically disrupt the foundation. So you need to have an impending, like, life or death. Either you sign up or it's end of days. So, like, just understanding this, okay, is that when we take actions of empowerment, we become empowered. When we take actions of disempowerment, of weakness, we become weak. No matter our strength, we become weak. We become frail. Because we lose purpose, or our purpose is misguided. So even upon victory, we do not achieve what we seeked, because we were seeking the wrong victory. And this is very important because, like, understanding this allows us to start building and framing our mind to, how do I identify disempowering words or disempowering language that I'm using, or thoughts. So even thinking worst case scenario, preparing for the worst, means that you're focusing on negative things happening, not positive things happening. So the likelihood you move towards negative events is quite high, because where focus goes, attention flows. Wherever my attention is directed is where I'm naturally going to walk. So an easy way to test this, okay, and observe this within ourselves, is when you're walking, look to your left and focus on your left and try and walk straight. And you'll understand that a natural curve will start to happen, because your subconscious will start directing you towards your focus. So that's very important to observe and understand, because when we're talking about, you know, our language patterns and our internal narratives and our internal beliefs, okay, when we're talking about our subconscious narratives and internal beliefs and languages, these are happening at speeds, okay, beyond our awareness. So we're not consciously aware of these narratives running. We only feel the effects of them running. So an important thing to understand with that is that that is our determining factor for how we test and measure is what we're doing working or not. We understand how we feel. So just by closing your eyes and imagining what you want to feel, you will feel it. Like, you have to do that because we need a base level to be able to like move towards. So if I close my eyes and think of the joy of, that I'll get from, the achievement or success or whatever it may be, right? And I close my eyes and I feel it. Now, that feeling that I'm feeling is the North Star. In every action, the action must make me feel like that. So even in a negative action, okay, if the worst of the worst is happening, I've still got to be able to find that feeling in that situation or environment and choose to follow it, because that's my North Star to where I want to go. So in understanding this, when I start to feel negative, I know that subconscious narratives are running. So I have to consciously start to implement new language pattern. Because understand, our subconscious is directed by our conscious awareness. In the context of what we focus on and look at again and again and again, and what actions we take on habit, form our thoughts and beliefs. So if I'm constantly saying to myself, you can do this, this is going to work, and all of this, and I'm constantly reinforcing myself, like my subconscious is only hearing that reinforcing narrative. So whenever any other narrative tries to rise its head, or comes to my awareness, what will happen is the narrative of positivity will be so strong that it will suppress it, and it will take a very, very large negative effect or situation to basically outcompete or outperform the positive thought pattern for mental space. So it's very important, because like in your mind, what you want in terms of that positive mindset, okay, and that internal fortitude, it's there. Like right now, it's there. We do not understand tomorrow. We do not understand like anything but the present moment and today. So today, in the present moment, everything you've ever dreamed or wished of is right there in front of you. It's within you. So the goal is well, how do we work towards it, and how do we take action? Because we don't know exactly what it is. We just have a feeling of a direction, a calling. So the important thing is now that we understand, well, what is my North Star feeling? Okay, when I take actions, I focus in on that feeling. When I create language patterns, when I work on my mindset, when I work on self-development, I measure against the feeling. How am I feeling? Am I feeling in a state of being good about myself? Am I feeling that I can do it? Do I believe that I can achieve it? Like all these different aspects, okay, make up that feeling. And we start taking actions, and we just look for that North Star in every action. And that just tells you your path. And that's the path of least resistance that's destined for you, because it's the path you want to travel. Regardless of all the illusions of life, this is the path you truly want to travel. And it's important to be able to get quiet, through meditation or mindfulness or, mind quieting practices, because you really want to be able to, talk to yourself and and hear what you're feeling and saying, and hear the language being used in your conscious mind, you know, and really understand it so that you can start to build your North Star, your direction. Because once you have your North Star, we don't need a map. We just need to start walking and we'll sort of get a natural flow for where to go. Like, it's quite easy. You know, we can study the terrain that we're about to walk in and we can have a map. That's no stress. We can look to those who have done it before. But essentially, like, we just got to walk the path, and the path we want to walk is the path that's most enjoyable for us, experience-wise and comfort-wise. So, like, for example, you know, in life,